Good afternoon. I am Kevin Gamley, Executive Vice President of the NBMDA, and I'm welcomed here today with our volunteer president, Emily Vella with Atlantic Plywood. Hello, Emily.
Hi, Kevin.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good, thanks. We're in early May, so welcome to your first video update as NBMDA president. We will do these every quarter. We initiated them last year and got some really good positive response from our membership. So we're going to continue this program as it's an easy way for members to stay up to date on NBMDA activities, as well as hearing from one of their own on what's going on in the marketplace. So first off, we'll cover some NBMDA highlights. We've got a number of things going on that the NBMDA Board of Directors are focused on. They're actually meeting next week, so a lot happening right now. But some of the highlights include we launched an emerging distribution leaders program this year, which we've been talking about for a couple of years. So we're super excited. I know your company's supporting it, Emily. Why do you think the NBMDA Board of Directors have been focused on this program?
I think we all recognize in this industry that it is an aging industry and things are going to be changing. We have a lot of people that have retired or will be retiring in the next few years. And just, at Atlantic Plywood and Parksite, we're already looking to, who's the next generation of leaders. And we're starting kind of our own internal programs to identify those people who will be taking over for all of these people that are retiring and moving on in the next few years. So it is very important to start to get these people involved in our association and in the industry now so that they're all ready to go and take on these new challenges as they move up in their companies and take on more responsibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. So all the details are on our website. It's about the course takes about 9 months to complete, but they're in 3 different segments. The deadline is the end of May if you haven't already signed up your person. So there's still time, and we encourage people to go to the website and complete an application. Next up, we have a couple of reports to talk about. We just closed the NBMDA Compensation and Benefits Report. And so that survey is now closed, but you can expect to see a report coming out later this month, which will provide our members with great benchmarking data to see what their staff wages look like compared to over 1,200 other distributors. Wow. Since we do this report with other distributor associations, it gives a very deep and kind of robust look at wages and benefits being offered by distributors across multiple industries. And you can zero in geographically to your state and your city, and in some cases even your county. So look for that coming up shortly. Any distributor that submitted data to it gets the report for free. Currently open right now is our annual financial benchmarking report. So our distributor members are able to benchmark key financial metrics against each other by participating in this annual program. The deadline for that survey is May 15th. So less than a couple of weeks here is the deadline. So encourage all distributor members to get their data in as soon as they can. Absolutely. We have an interesting webinar series going on right now. We've already completed 3 of a 6-part series. It's called Winning the War on Talent, and it is focused on helping our members retain and recruit talent in this challenging environment. The next session comes up on June 8th. You can also go to our website and listen to the recorded versions of the ones that have already occurred, as well as sign up for the June 8th session. This is obviously a very hot topic for our members, so I encourage everyone to participate. Now, a couple of major events later this year. The International Woodworking Fair, IWF, comes back to Atlanta this summer after 4-year absence due to the pandemic. So super excited about that event. Many of our members typically attend. The show is expecting very strong attendance, so NBMDA will be back in force at that event. We'll be hosting a booth on the trade show floor, as well as our very popular networking reception that'll occur the second evening of the show. So members should watch for details on IWF and NBMDA's activities there. Last but certainly not least is our annual convention. So the 2022 event comes up on November 1st to the 3rd in Chicago. We have an exciting program set. Emily, you were in Chicago last month with the planning committee, and we got all the details kind of lined up. What are you most excited about for this fall?
I think the first thing, probably like everyone else, is just getting back in person to a full convention with our full lineup of programming. I think we're bringing almost everything back that we've had in the past and adding a lot of new things. And I think our speaker lineup is really, really great. And we've allowed a lot more time, I think, for some meetings this year. So it'll give our vendors more opportunities to schedule meetings and have a little more time than our speed dating event on the floor. So I think it'll be great just to get back and network in person.
Yes. We are bringing back the University of Innovative Distribution in a Day program, which is our manager track ahead of the event. So members should look for that and plan to send their managers to Chicago this fall. As you said, we have a great program, some exciting new things. We already have over 70 manufacturers signed up for tabletop booths. So any supplier members that have not secured their booth yet should do so soon. We expect that we will sell out our show floor this year. Distributors should expect online registration to open in mid-July, and encourage all distributors to get registered early.
Yes, and we're back in Chicago, which
yes,
we all know is a great city.
Absolutely, and typically has been one of our strongest draws in years past. So many people recall us being in Chicago in 2016 when the Cubs won the World Series. Don't know how we're going to top that, but we're working at it.
We'll do our best.
So those are some key updates on NBMDA activities. Let's shift to looking out at the industry and get some insight from you, Emily. How have business conditions been over the course of the first quarter of the year?
I would say interesting. You know, certainly the demand is there. The sales are there. I'm sure like everyone, we've had price increases, which have resulted overall in higher margins. So, you know, profits have been very strong, but we're obviously facing supply chain disruptions and, you know, worldwide events that we weren't anticipating last year when we were doing budgets. You know, no one knew that there was going to be a war in the Ukraine that was going to affect these fuel prices so much. So, you know, obviously, just like we have the last couple of years, is pivoting and dealing with all of these things that are popping up that we had not planned for. So it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's never dull.
No.
So I talked about a number of offerings we have related to the tough labor market.
Yes.
What are you seeing in that area? Are things getting any better?
No, it's still very, very, you know, certain level, it depends on the level of the position. So, you know, obviously in warehousing and stuff, we have a lot of competition from much larger companies that have deeper pockets and can afford to pay people a lot more than we can. So it's figuring out ways, you know, through things learning in the webinar series, interesting ways that we can attract talent and, you know, get people to look at a company that they may not look at when there's, you know, Amazons and Walmarts and those other larger companies out there paying a lot more money. And then obviously on the more skilled, higher level positions, it's just, there's so many opportunities out there. So it's just trying to, you know, educate and tap into our HR resources and, you know, try to recruit people into an industry that they may not be aware of and might not have any interest in until they learn more about the company. So definitely very, very difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, never dull. So
Nope.
Always challenges for our members.
Yes. And I would say, you know, geographic, we cover, you know, most of the states east of the Mississippi, and it's not really isolated to any area. You know, each market has their own challenges.
Right. Well, and speaking of challenges, you had referenced supply chain disruption, which obviously our members have been dealing with now for a couple of years. Anything different or new on that front? Any light at the end of the tunnel? Any product categories worse than others?
It doesn't seem as much, category specific. It seems everyone has been affected in some ways. So with some of our vendors, we may be on allocations and we just can't get enough material to supply our customers, even though the demand is there and we're trying to do our best. And then in other cases, the suppliers may have seen their raw material costs increase so much that, their products are almost becoming cost prohibitive, and our customers are just not willing to pay the higher prices for those products that they had been using for a while. And we've had to kind of, value engineer or look into bringing on, other product lines to supplement some of these higher price products that they're just so cost prohibitive at this point.
Right. I know you personally spent a lot of your time in the category of decorative surfaces. What is going on in that space? Any dynamics, trends, challenges that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, props to our vendors because they've really done a great job kind of addressing these issues and heading them off before they become a really big problem. And for the most part, for the domestically made products, we haven't seen like significant delays and stuff. So it may be some things are delayed about a week or two, but we haven't seen those kind of month-long or multi-month-long lead times that we're seeing more on the panel side. So we have plenty of surfaces to give people. They may not have the substrates to put them on or the glues, but we've got the surfacing material. And there have been, a little bit longer delays on some of the products that are made overseas. But I think generally our vendors recognize that even though things slowed down a little bit in 2020 and 2021, those products, they were going to come back at some point. So they knew that the jobs were out there. They knew that at some point they were going to be released and the demand was going to be there. So they never really slowed down. They kind of kept up with knowing that this stuff was going to come back and, being prepared to have this material in stock when these jobs did come about. So overall, they've done a really good job.
Great. Obviously, it's a very important product category for most of our members.
Yes. Yep. So, and I think, in hearing from, some of other distributors or other competitors, I think generally on the surfacing side of things, they've done a fairly good job of keeping up with the demand, and the supply chain issues haven't been as extensive as they've been on some of the panel and the hardware side of things.
Okay. So looking ahead for the rest of 2022, what do you see coming up? What excites you for the rest of the year?
I'm excited to be back at IWF. That one, I think just the interest that we're already seeing and knowing that, the vast majority of our vendors are going to be there and we can be back in person and have kind of some longer meetings than we get the chance to have at NBMDA in person. I think it'll be great to see everybody there. And hopefully we can get some of our new emerging leaders or UID people to pop into the networking reception or pop into the booth if they're not familiar with the association and learn more about it. And then, on a business standpoint, I just hope that we continue like the momentum that we've had through the first quarter of this year. I hope that it just continues through the rest of the year and we can keep up with the demand because we know it's out there. Things are going really, really well, and we hope it just continues through the end of the year.
Sounds good. I look forward to visiting with you again in the summer at the end of the second quarter.
Yes.
Appreciate your time today. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care.